my stamping friends, it's Christine Ludwig from Christine's Stamping Spot. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in St. Albert, Alberta, and welcome to my Mystery Monday video today. Today is March the 11th. Oh my gosh, we're halfway through the month already. And we still have a ton of snow here. I don't know about you, where you are. Let me know where you're from and what your conditions are like. If your tulips are blooming, that would be awesome. And did everybody get through daylight savings okay this weekend? I know we all lost an hour's sleep, so I know that can kind of mess with our body clocks sometimes. So it takes a couple of days or a week or so, right, to get back on schedule. So speaking of tulips, we are going to take a look at this Sunshine and Tulips bundle today. And this is from our current mini catalog. And you can find it on page 50. So it's right here. It's this bundle. So you get the stamp set with these really cute greetings and these dies. And here are some really great samples of what you can do with this particular bundle. So the stamp set has these great images and some nice little greetings. And then the dies look like this. Okay, so you have one large die that will cut out a bunch of tulips and cut out the shape of the square with some stitching. And I'll show you what that looks like in a bit. A die for your greeting, and then there's some overlay tulip dies and some leaf dies that you overlays for the leaves, because there are some leaves in this die. So the more I got to playing with this, the more I realized, oh my gosh, there are so many variations of things you could do with this bundle. And today I'm just going to show you one, but there are tons of ideas, and I think I might even revisit this bundle on Friday at my Facebook Live. So if you want to tune in and check out some more great ideas, I think I'm going to be playing with this a little bit this week and see what we can come up with and show you some different things you can do with this particular bundle. Okay, so the project we are making today is this one. Okay, so I don't know if you can tell, but we've used that tulip die, and then we've colored different sort of tulips. Okay, so I will get started with just the base and everything, and then I'll show you how we did these little, did those little tulips. Okay, so we're going to start with a piece of basic white, and that is cut at 11 by 4 1/4, scored at 5 1/2. Okay, so that will be our base. And then I decided to go with Granny Apple Green, which is some of the really neat designs that I saw. It kind of makes it look a little more springy, I thought, too. This Granny Apple Green is such a happy green. So this, I believe, I will post these measurements on the post, but this one I believe was cut at 5 3/8 by 4 1/8. So that is going to go on top of our base, but I'm not going to put that on just yet. Okay, we'll put that on maybe in just a bit. So I'm going to set that aside. And then we have a piece of basic white that we are going to need for this big die. Okay, so you're going to cut it, because this die, let me see, I think it actually measures 4 by 5 1/4. Okay, so you want to cut a piece of paper a little bit larger than the die. So I think I cut this at 5 1/2 by 4 1/2, maybe. I'm not sure what I did. 4 1/4 actually. This is, yeah, because this is 4 by 5 1/4. So I cut it 5 1/2 by 4 1/4. And just to give it that little cushion on the outside. Okay, so you're going to run this through your die cut machine. And when it comes out, it is going to look like this. So you're going to have all of these tulip shapes here. So you're going to have 12 of them. I did a couple, so I have a bunch of extra tulip flowers here, but these are all just going to pop out, okay? So you're going to have 12 of these that pop out, and then the leaves are sort of semi-attached, right? So you could prop those up with some glue dots if you wanted, or just sort of bend them into place. So now we had to decide, okay, what are we going to do with this? What are we going to do now with this die? How are we going to make these tulips, etc.? So for that, I was thinking, well, there's one way you could color your flowers here. Let me just get my silicone mat out so you can see them a little better. So you have all these tulip flowers. So you could just stamp them, because we do have the stamp. Let me just grab that. We do have the stamps here and the leaf stamp. Okay, I'm actually going to pull these because we're going to need these. We are going to do a little bit of stamping. So you could just stamp randomly. You could have cut these out of, when you cut this die out, you could have cut it out a few times out of different colors of cardstock. So you would have different cardstock tulip flowers that you could just sort of pop in. So that's an easy alternative too. You could stamp them different colors. You could also, what I was thinking is, this isn't a very large opening. So if you didn't want to stamp, run the die through a whole bunch of different colors, you could just cut some little squares out of the different colors of cardstock and just sort of mount it behind here, okay, with your adhesive. And then when you turn it over, you'll have different colors of tulips too. Might save on cardstock a little bit, right? So there's different things you can do. So I thought, what I want to do is I wanted to try our new Stampin' Positioner. Now, I'm going to show you what that looks like. This was a tool that was available for free if you joined the Stampin' Up! Family in February. So if any of you joined a team and got this for free, lucky you, because it was an exclusive item in February only for new demonstrators. Existing demonstrators had a chance to pre-order one. So that's why I have this. This is actually a remake of our old Stamparatus. We used to have a Stamparatus that did the same thing. It was just designed differently. And if you have that Stamparatus, by all means, keep using it. There was a bit of a copyright issue with that, and so Stampin' Up! Had to redesign the Stamparatus. That's why it was taken off of the market, even though we loved it to bits because it was on a hinge system. It was really awesome. But they've come up with this new design, which is also awesome. Okay, so I just want to show you the parts and pieces that come with it. So you have your base, and this is the base, and it's a non-slip surface, so that's awesome. So that will sit sturdy on your work surface, okay? Then you have two plates. So you have this large plate for large stamps that you can place on here and then stamp. Now, this is sort of designed on I guess, kind of a, I don't know if, not hinge, but it's like, you just press down and it pops up. I don't know what that would be called, but you would press down your stamp on your paper, lift it up. So your stamp is never touching your paper. Okay, so what you would do if you had a large stamp, you would place it on here, ink it up, have your paper, put this in the little pegs, and then stamp down, and it would lift up, and then you would have your image on your paper, okay? So we have this large plate for large stamps, and then we also have this small one. So this small one has some holes in it here. It's also a spring, that's the word I'm looking for, a spring system. So this little one is meant for smaller stamps, and it's also meant for repeat stamping. So you could start on this end. These little holes fit into these pegs, so you would just pop them in. Let me get this here. There we go. And same idea. You would ink up your stamp, press down, and go. And then if you wanted to put the same stamp down, you would just move it over 2 pegs. You would re-ink it, of course. Move it over 2 pegs, stamp again. And then you could work your way down the line. So the example I always give is, let's say you want to do a birthday card and you wanted happy, happy, happy birthday. You could do happy in one color, clean it off, ink it with another color, move it down, happy in another one, clean it off, another color, and just work your way down. So you'd have happy, happy, happy in a bunch of different colors, and then maybe birthday at the very bottom. Okay, so that's what I mean by positioning on your way down. Now, these are the magnets that come. Now, they are very strong, but if you'll remember the ones from the Stamparatus, those were ridiculously strong. And we always did our best to not let them touch each other, because if they got attached, it was quite a job to get them unattached. I mean, it can be done, but there was also the risk of them breaking. And when they broke, they were very, very sharp. Okay, so these are also very strong, but they're lighter. And they have these little tabs at the end that you can hold on to and position it on the magnet, because there is a magnet in here. Okay, so these are what the magnets look like. All right. And then we have, that this doesn't come with the positioner, but you can buy your paper, okay, your grid paper that can go underneath. And this is what it looks like. So you would take a piece off, and if you can tell, it has these holes up here, okay? These holes fit exactly in these holes. So it holds your paper in place, okay? So your base paper. So that fits on there perfectly, and then you can put your cardstock on here, attach with your magnets, and you are good to go. Cool, hey? Really fun tool. This is amazing for multiple images. So if you are making a whole schwack of Christmas cards, the same design, you could just use this. Bum, 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 and before you know it, all of them are stamped, okay? If you're doing two-step stamping where you have a lighter image on the bottom and a darker image to go on top, perfect for that as well. Also, if you don't ink up your image exactly 100%, if you're missing a little bit of ink, you just flip it, re-ink it, put it right back down, and it should cover it right in the exact same spot. Okay, so having said all that and given you a little demonstration, I thought, are going to try to ink up these tulips with our positioner, okay? So I don't know if you can see on here, but there's 2 different stamps that we're using. One for the base, and then the little overlay that's a little bit darker. I don't know if you can tell in this light. Okay, so to do that, what I did was, where is my template? I cut out a template of the die, okay? So just on some white cardstock, I just cut that die through, punched out all of the tulip flowers, and this is what I'm going to use as my guide. So I'm going to line this up on my grid paper. I don't know. I'm just going to line it up straight here. And I'm going to put my magnets on, okay, to just hold this in place so it doesn't move. Okay, so then what you need to do is decide on what ink colors you want your tulips to be, okay? I used four different colors on this card. This was Highland Heather, Melon Mambo, Daffodil Delight, and Bubble Bath, okay? But you can do any color of tulip you want. There are so many colors of tulips out there. You can just go crazy. You can do them all one color, whatever your preference is, okay? So I'm going to do similar And I've done some ahead because I know you don't need to see me stamp all of these. But I'm going to show you how I did the Melon Mambo ones. Okay, so of course, when I cut out my die, all of the loose tulips came out, right? So, because I want to put a greeting in the center, I'm not going to fill in these two. I'm just going to fill out the outer ones. So that would be 3, 6, 9, 10, because there's 12, okay? Let's see if there's 10, okay. We'll just wing it. I kind of did it on the understanding I would do 12, but then I changed my mind, which I do. Okay, so I'm going to bring out, let's say, three of the blank white ones, okay? And I just want to see what I have that I've pre-done, so get those organized, and then we'll see what we're going to put on our actual project at the end. Okay, and like I said, if you just want to stamp them, go for it. That's no problem. Okay, so we're going to use these two stamps, all right? So this one, this oval, is your first base of the tulip here, okay? It's kind of an oval. So what I want to do is I want to stamp this one first, and then I'm going to stamp this overlay, okay? If you can see the difference there. They're a little bit pink because I've already used them. So I'll stamp this, and then I'm going to ink it in the same ink, but using this as the overlay, okay? Because it has the little sort of tulip petals that go out to the side there. Okay, so to do this, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take one of those tulip die cuts, and I'm going to place this stamp right like in the center as best I can. Okay, with the big flat side at the top, all right? And then I'm going to fit it inside this template right here, okay? And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take another one, because I thought, okay, you can do this, you know, all of them with this step first, and then take that one out, mount the overlay, and do that. But I thought, why not do them at the same time? So, going rogue here a little bit, I'm going to mount this overlay stamp on another one, just for placement purposes, okay? And you can see I've got that white point out of the middle there, okay? So that's about, I think, where I want that to sit, somewhere like that. It may not be exact, but we'll see once we've stamped, okay? And I'm going to put that in the next one over. All right, I'm just going to sit it inside. Now it is a little bit sticky, so it's sticking to my fingers. Okay, so I think those are both inside the template. So then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my small panel. I'm going to put it in the holes, right? So it's not attached to the stamps, if you can see that. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to press down, and that is going to lift and attach the stamps where I want them to be, okay? So now, of course, these got stuck, but that's okay. I'm just going to take them off. As long as the stamps stay in place, that's what I want. Okay, so we're going to put a blank one in here again. All right, so that is sitting in the template. And then I'm going to grab my Melon Mambo ink and a sponge dauber, because these are kind of small. And I'm going to stamp this one first. This stamp here, the base. I'm just going to go on it with my Melon Mambo. Okay. And then I'm going to put it in the positioner and push down and up. And that's how it came out. All right. So then I'm going to move it to the second position here, the second template spot. And then I'm going to put a fresh one in the first spot because I'm going to do these sort of at the same time. All right, so this time what I'm going to do is I'm going to ink up both of them, okay? Hope you can see this on the camera. So I'm going to ink up both of these. Okay, and you can add, if you want, a little bit more to the second tulip. All right, turn it over, position it, and press. Okay, so when it comes up, this is the one with both stamps. Can you see the center is a little bit, the point is a little bit lighter than the second stamp, and it lined up perfectly. There's a little bit of white on the end, but that's not too bad. Okay, so then we have one completed. So then this one has part of the ink on where we want it. So we're going to move that to the second spot, this last one here, and we're going to do it again. Stamp up both. All right. Put this in our positioner, press down, and we have our second tulip. And then our third, we just have to stamp the overlay. So we'll just do this one by itself because we're only going to do 3. Okay, let me get that in there. All right, so then we just have to ink up this second stamp. Okay, we can leave this one because it's not going to touch. Or when it touches, it'll touch our grid paper actually underneath. Okay, so let's do the overlay. And there it is. Is that not cool? I think that's awesome. So then if you wanted to switch colors, all you would do is take your chamois or take, you know, a cleaner, baby wipe or whatever, and just wipe off the ink. Leave the stamps where they are. Don't remove the stamps unless they aren't quite in the right position. And then once they're cleaned off, you can use a different color of ink. So then you might want to do Daffodil Delight or something else and position it in the same spot because your stamps are already on your plate. They are ready to go. Ta-da! I think that's fun. Fun, fun. Okay, so now I have my tulips, except I just dropped one. Okay, so we have Melon Mambo, we have Pretty in Pink, we have Daffodil Delight, and we have Fresh Freesia. So I kind of cut for 12 until I decided we aren't going to have to bother with the center ones because they are going to be covered up and no one's going to see them. So we'll see what sort of a pattern we come up with, okay? All right, so now what I want to do is I'm going to put this on top of my Granny Apple Green. Now you'll notice on my sample, I did run this through the eyelet embossing folder. So that's another option before you attach it on your Granny Apple Green. I don't know if I'm so crazy about the eyelet folder. I think something a little more subtle would have been better, but I wanted to try it, so I did, and it's okay. It's fine. I don't dislike it. But this one I'm just going to leave blank, okay? But if you had a nice subtle embossing folder, whether it's current or not, there are so many that we have. You might want to just try it and see if you like it. Otherwise, just leave it completely blank. Okay, so I am going to put some adhesive on here. Now you can use liquid glue if that's easier, because don't forget you have these leaves. I'll show you again. Oh, you know what I forgot to do? I forgot to stamp my leaves, but I will do that second, even though I probably should have done it before. was just so anxious to get my tulips on. Okay, we'll stamp them anyways, but we'll do it when it's on here. So you're going to have just the slightest bit of Granny Apple Green showing. Okay, so let's stamp these leaves here. So we have a leaf stamp. Now this didn't work in the positioner for me because of the way they were spread out, and the plate didn't line up exactly perfect. So I'm just going to do these by hand. Now I'm going to grab Granny Apple Green ink. Now I did re-ink this, so it's a little bit dark and a little bit splotchy. So I don't know why that is, but I'm going to stamp off, and then I'll start at the top maybe, and you're just going to try to line it up as best you can. If they're a little bit off, it's not a big to-do, okay? And you're just going to, oh, see, that one was a little bit off, but that's okay. You can take a little more time with it if you're doing it on your own. And because I re-inked my ink, I guess I didn't necessarily re-ink it evenly, but you know what? I don't mind that sort of variegated look on these. It's kind of something a little bit different. It's okay. Okay, so this doesn't really take very long. So we'll do all of these, even those, I guess I didn't have to do them because we are covering them, but good practice. Okay, let's do this. That's out a little bit too. Let's see if I can cover this up a bit better. Well, not the best, but you get the idea. Just take your time with it. Okay, so those are our leaves. All right, so now we can attach our tulips. So what I want to do is pop these up on mini dimensionals, okay? So think of a pattern, something that you would like, or you can do them all the same, you know, just 3 colors the same, or you can switch them up. Let's see, what do I want to do? Maybe we'll start with the pink, the pretty in pink, or no, sorry, this is the Melon Mambo. What am I saying? Oh, Melon Mambo, great for spring. So I'm going to pop that up. And then let's do, actually, you know what? Let's do Daffodil Delight. And pop that in there. And then we'll do a pretty in pink, which is one of our retiring in colors. Oh my gosh, I'm so sad. I love this pink. Used to be one of our core colors. And then when they did a refresh, they took it out, but then they brought it back the last 2 years as an in color. So we will have to wait and see on our next color refresh what they're going to do. Okay, so we'll do that as our pattern. So we'll have 2 extra here, but that's okay. We'll just think of it as a nice colorful tulip bouquet. Who has tulips planted in their garden? I bet you some of you, they are blooming like crazy already, right? Ours are still covered under snow, so we might have tulips in, I don't know, what is it, March, April, May, maybe May? When we want to put our bedding plants in, I don't know. This snow is just enough. Oh, it just seems to surprise you. We had some crazy windstorms this weekend here too, which was, oh, kept us or woke us up at night, that's for sure. Okay, so you kind of have a pattern. These pinks are sort of in a line, otherwise I would have, you know, kept rotating the pattern, and these are kind of in a row as well, but that's okay. That is fine. Like I say, tulips come in so many colors. And they're one of my favorites for sure. Okay, so let's put this yellow one down here in the corner. Okay, so we've popped these up and we have 2 left over, excuse me, for another project, okay? Okay, so those are done. Now, if you wanted with these leaves, you can just sort of fold them out a little bit, or you could always stick a glue dot underneath them if you want them to stay popped up. All right, that's an option. Oh, this one I don't have to do because it's in the center. We're going to put our greeting in there. So let me think of which greeting we want to use. And then we're going to put this on our base first. And then we shall put our greeting on. Okay, so we'll do it like that. Okay. So let's put this on our base. Now you're going to have just a little bit of well, this one, I don't know if I cut this quite right. It looks a little off, but that's okay. Maybe my score line was off a bit. That's okay. Okay, so our greeting. What do we want to say? Sending a garden of love, because I want to use the die that's in the set, which is this one. So I did go ahead and cut that out. So you could use it this orientation or this orientation. And because I've left room, I think I will do it right in the center. So I'll probably have to use one of these two. So if friends were flowers, I'd pick you. Maybe we should use that. That is so sweet. So sweet. Let me see, it's this one. And let's find a block for that. So now, what color should we do it? How about if we do it in Mellow Mambo? It's a nice bright color. Let's try that. Okay. I'm gonna try this and see how it goes. Okay. I think I'm at the point where a lot of my stamp pads need to be re-inked. So I'm gonna have to think about doing that. Okay. So there we go. If friends were flowers, I pick you. For your special friend. Okay. So we're going to pop this up with some dimensionals as well. I'll put probably more than I need, but you know, me and dimensionals kind of like each other, or I like them. Okay, so let's put this in the center, like so. Now, I don't know if these, they might even be enough that you can sort of put them on top of your greeting a little bit. You can pop them up if you wanted. You don't have to. And then I'm going to just add a bit of bling with the pearlized faceted circles. These are sort of pinks and a little bit of clear, but I think I might use maybe just these little ones here. Maybe I'll put a couple on here, and there's a bigger one. Should I put some here or just in there? What am I going to do, folks? What would you do? That doesn't look like very many, does it? Maybe I can add some different ones here. Add some different colors because they are different shades. These are really quite neat. You don't need a ton, but a few are nice. How about that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Odd numbers are always good, right? And then should I add, I think I'm going to add a little bit of baker's twine. I think I will. I wasn't going to, but I think I will. Single bow or double? I don't typically like single bows so much. I feel they're kind of orphaned. I don't know, they just look so, I don't know. I don't know what the word is, but I kind of prefer the double bows out of the baker's twine. It just has a little more substance and strength to it, maybe. I don't know. Okay, let's figure out how we want this to go and where we're going to put this. Now, if you had a different colored ribbon, like by all means, or you don't even have to put a ribbon on if you don't want. There, it's a little better. What is happening? Why is this so short? My gosh, I really didn't cut this very even, did I? Oh my gosh. Okay, it'll be fine. Can I get this piece out of here? Do you guys have this issue? I don't know. It's kind of there. Okay. Let me get some glue dots and we shall stick this on and hopefully it will look okay. But a colored ribbon or a colored twine would be lovely too, just to bring out some of those colors that you have. But the white is nice too. Looks nice and clean and fresh. There you go, guys. So that's your Sunshine and Tulips bundle. Do you have a preference? Which one you like? I don't know. They're both very springy and lovely. Yeah, so I can't wait to play with this a little bit more. And if you guys have this, like, post some photos of it. I'd love to see what it looks like, or mention it in the comments, or put your photo in the comments. It would be lovely to see what you come up with. And we will try to play with this some more this week and maybe do this again on my live on Friday, but do something different with it. How's that? Okay, everybody, have a great Monday, and we will see you next time. Bye for now.